Hi. I drink apple juice now. Um, I got a text message. Sorry, I should probably answer that later when I'm not recording a video. I drink apple juice now. I've had 4 gallons since I got back to Paris. And I'm not talking. You're supposed to talk when you record a video. You're supposed to fill space. Talk. Okay. Um, so I did something. I've been so out of sorts since I got back. It really doesn't make sense. I did something I haven't done since I was 19, which is ironic now that I think about it. I threw myself at my friend Eddie. And it was awkward because I don't think about him sexually anymore. I mean, I did at one point, but it was a long time ago. And and I don't think about him that way anymore, and he doesn't think about me, which he told me in not so many kind. Well, he was just being honest. Now I don't even like it when people tell the truth. Oh my god. But I threw myself at him, and I wasn't paying attention to what he was saying, because he kept talking about his boyfriend Angel, who he wasn't really feeling anything for, and if anything, he felt bad. And I could tell that he kind of wanted to talk about it or something, but I was in no mood to. Not even mood. I'm just not in a state of mind right now where I can like even be helpful to other people because my mind is just so crossed between dimensions right now. And um, I mean, the hookup itself was fine because I mean it achieved my purpose. It stopped me from thinking about Edgar. And fuck, what is it with my phone? That thing never goes off, and now the minute I start a goddamn video, it's boop boop boop. Um, it stopped me from thinking about Edgar, and it um, stopped me from thinking about how uncomfortable I am being home, which is ironic because that's all I wanted almost the entire time I was in Paris, was to come home. Um, it's 2 weeks now, 2 weeks, and I still don't feel normal. Anyways, the very next day, I found out, and one of the reasons that I chose Eddie was because he was the same age as Edgar. And I know that seems odd, but it was because I had not really pressed myself with Eddie too much before because I felt like our age difference was insurmountable. And then the whole Edgar thing happened, and I started thinking, well, maybe that was all in my head. It wasn't. Eddie's still. It's not that. Okay, it has nothing to do with the fact that he's 19. And that's what I learned from that situation. Edgar's 19, Eddie's 19. There are plenty of people who are 19, and each of them are at completely different maturity levels. And to look at age as this kind of superior thing, I mean, people keep cautioning me against the whole Edgar thing because they say that I have more life experience than him, and duh, I mean, that's very true. But just because I've lived longer doesn't necessarily mean that I've had more experiences than him. And I think it's what you take from those experiences. because I feel like Edgar is very highly mature for all of the experiences he's gone through, and I feel like Eddie has been through a lot of experiences. I mean, he's Palestinian, he lived in Palestine, he's gone through that whole, he's been around the world, just like Edgar has. But the way they react and the way that they integrated those things completely produced a different type of maturity. And by no means is Edgar wholly mature. He's still definitely a teenager in many respects, but I don't seem to notice those. Whereas with Eddie, they're kind of glaringly obvious. Anyways, it turns out Eddie's boyfriend, Angel, is someone that I'm friends with. And unfortunately, it's someone that I like a little bit more than Eddie. And so I totally just, I just saw myself as when I realized that, I just went, fuck, I have a fuck ton of awful karma coming my way because of this. Angel is my friend Kendall's best friend. And I met Kendall because Kendall was Jeff the Jew's best friend. You see how it all fucking comes back around? No matter how I try to push that motherfucker out of my life, he still comes back in a multitude of ways. Jesus. So, I'm not looking forward to that when it finally surfaces. Although when I told my friend Lindsay, I told her in LA, when I was in LA with my mother, and she goes, "You're already experiencing your karma having to be in LA with your mother." It was horrible. I was so uncomfortable the entire time I was in Los Angeles. I mean, I love being around my little brothers, and I was glad that I got to go, but I was so uncomfortable, and I had to keep smiling and pretending, and it was exhausting. It was exhausting. I don't think I spent an entire day with them because I just had to get away and get out and just absorb how sucky everything was. I was so uncomfortable. The one bright spot was when my friend Sue came, and my friend Sue, known her for years. She lives down in LA. She's on a TV show now. Good for her. But even with her, I wasn't the same. And but see, she's so perky, and she just sees the good in everything, and she goes, "You look so peaceful. You look so at peace." I'm like, I have never felt less peaceful in my life. I feel in complete chaos, and she just was so encouraging. "You're so peaceful. You look great. You're glowing." I'm like, this glow is because I'm about to have a nuclear meltdown. Like, it's not. I don't think it's good, but apparently other people do. So that was very amusing. But yeah, just the whole LA thing was exhausting, and being around. I swear to God, if I don't have to see my mother for another 3 months, I will be totally fine with that. I cannot stand being around her. She is just absolutely psychotic. I can totally see her being related to my crazy grandfather, and I'm terrified that I'm going to end up that way. And the problem is that I already am like him. I can see it. I can see it that I'm very much like him. I'm just hoping I have enough of my father's genes to kind of balance that out a little bit. Flip of the coin. While I was in LA, I submitted my my registration, and I'm officially now going to Cal Poly Pomona, and I'm going to school in Southern California, just outside of LA. And I have to be honest, it fucking terrifies me. It absolutely terrifies me. And I told Sue how terrified I was. And she's like, no, 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 this is good. You've been wanting to come back to LA, and that's true. My intention in going to school, when I went back to school, was that I would return to LA when I finished up here. And so, I mean, that much is true. But now I've spoken it into reality. I've committed to it, and I know that if I don't get myself 100% behind this decision, it's gonna fall out right from under me, and I'm not gonna know what happened. And so I'm trying to like psych myself up, but I don't know how to do that when I'm so scattered in every other direction. Usually I can just pull myself together and march forward. That's what I did with Paris, and even though Paris itself didn't turn out to be exactly what I wanted it to be, you know, I'm proud of the fact that I worked my ass off and that I got there, and that there were times when I didn't think I could do it, but I pulled stuff out of thin air and just made it work. And, you know, I suppose that's what I'm going to have to do now that my house is spotless right now. This is a perfect example. My house is spotless right now. I cleaned. I drink juice. I bake pies. Baking pies has randomly become my coping mechanism. I made a pumpkin pie before I left for LA. I made an apple pie. The pumpkin pie turned out all wrong, and I cursed myself, so I tried the apple pie, and right when it was ready, I fucking dropped the whole thing and it shattered into pieces. And I just kind of laughed to myself that even my coping mechanisms somehow fail and fuck up. My house is clean. My house is never clean. My house is never clean. I've lived here off and on in this place since 2004, and I can probably count on two hands the number of days that my house has been clean, because it never happens, because I'm not someone who's like that, and I find it very, and everyone has told me that if my house is clean, I will be at peace, that my house is a reflection of the order of my house is a reflection of the order of my mind, and that is bullshit. Let me tell you right now, it's bullshit, because my house is clean, and I feel like my mind looks like how my house used to look, and it's creepy. I feel like I don't even live here. I don't live here. It's like this isn't my house anymore. Like, and I read. And not only am I reading, but I'm reading really fucked up things too. I'm not really, but I'm reading fucked up stuff for me because I don't read things. I'm very weird about books. I don't read new books. I only read books that I've had to read. So if like somehow something forces me to read a book, regardless of whether or not I liked the book, that book I will read again. Like, what was it? It's the lesbian pulp novel, the Beebo Brinker Chronicles. What is it? You know what I'm talking about, lesbians. What is it? It's the one where the girl goes to... Oh my god! I'll call her back. See what I mean? Anyways, so I'll reread that, but I won't reread anything new. Yet, for some reason, I have been reading every fucking Jane Austen novel since I got back from Paris. I shit you not. Like, I love watching the Jane Austen movies, and I even attempted to, like, read Shakespeare. Like, I read Much Ado About Nothing. All of a sudden, I'm, like, reading all this classical shit that's, like, fucking up my brain. And now I'm starting to talk like those backward people, and I'm like, oh, your countenance is very... Fucking countenance? You look good. You look good. Why don't I say that? I have to say your countenance is very pleasing to my eyes. Ah! This is me in the throes of a mental breakdown right now. It's kind of amusing. Oh, God. I wish... I don't even know what I wish. I'm supposed to hang out with Edgar tonight. I don't know if that's going to happen. I haven't seen him at all since that day at the airport. All I know is that my mind is totally out in another world. And I can't handle the truth anymore. It's very weird. But I'm not going to be depressed, because being depressed is bad. Fuck it, I'm just gonna go clean my house.